Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. Monday Night Raw tonight was from the Heritage Bank Center in Cincinnati, Ohio, and this was Monday Night Raw's go-home show for Elimination Chamber, which is this Saturday. And Monday Night Raw tonight, I thought this was a very mediocre show, in my opinion. This show did nothing to hype us up for Elimination Chamber this Saturday. There was a lot of filler on this show. It's like Triple H phoned in the show tonight. Like, well, Elimination Chamber is this Saturday. Right after Elimination Chamber, we're going to start, building towards WrestleMania. So, if you missed the show tonight, you missed absolutely nothing big outside of the main event. But tonight on Monday Night Raw, we had a triple threat match. We had Ludwig Kaiser versus Penta versus Pete Dunne. We had the New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods. They have taken on Joaquin Wilde and Cruz Toro of the LWO. Gunther was in action, and he have taken on Akira Tozawa. The Women's Intercontinental Championship was on the line where Lyra Valkyria defended the title against Dakota Kai, after Dakota Kai ended up defeating Ivy Nile last week to be the number one contender to face Lyra for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. We have Bron Breakker in action, and he had taken on Dominik Mysterio. And in the main event, we had the Women's Tag Team Championship on the line where Bianca, Belair, and Naomi defended the title against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Overall, Monday Night Raw tonight, very mediocre show, very filler show, in my opinion. But anyway, let's jump right into the review. Monday Night Raw opened up tonight with Logan Paul. And already, right from the get-go, WWE wants all of us to mute our TVs when Logan Paul comes out. So he came out, boos from the crowd there in Cincinnati. Logan Paul got on the mic. He ended up saying that he's from Ohio. But of course, the fans in his home state booed him. Logan Paul ended up saying that he's just like the people in Ohio, except way better. He ended up saying that he has a story. He ended up saying that he was coming in on his airplane, and as they were descending, he saw a dreary, gray Cincinnati. He ended up saying that he wanted to pull a U-turn and go home. Logan Paul ended up saying that he realized he is righteous and perform for the peasants because he's just that humble. So, Logan Paul ended up saying that the last time he was in the ring on Raw, he defeated Rey Mysterio, a Hall of Famer. Logan Paul ended up saying that he punched his ticket to the Elimination Chamber this Saturday, where he will defeat 3 doorknobs and John Cena. He ended up saying then he will go on to main event WrestleMania, where he'll face Cody Rhodes and become the face of the company. Yeah, Logan Paul being face of the company, that will never happen. That would be fucking awful. So I like to CM Punk. CM Punk ended up coming out. Logan Paul was not too pleased with Punk coming out there. Punk got a huge reaction from the crowd there in Cincinnati. So CM Punk did not look pleased with what Logan Paul was saying. So Logan Paul then ended up asking CM Punk what his problem is with him. And he ended up saying that he doesn't understand why the crowd has a problem with him. So Logan Paul ended up saying that he's heard what Punk said online. And he thinks he knows why. Logan Paul ended up saying that Punk is jealous that he succeeds at everything he does. He ended up saying that all Punk has done is fail upwards. So Punk got on the mic. He ended up saying that he doesn't have a problem with Logan Paul because he doesn't know him well enough. He ended up saying this is about the Elimination Chamber. and that it's business. Punk ended up saying that Logan Paul is a dime a dozen loudmouth kid who says dumb things for the shock of it. He ended up saying no character and no substance, and that the people deserve better. So Logan Paul then mocked Punk. He ended up saying that he will tell Punk what is bad business. He ended up saying that when Punk came back, it was one of the greatest returns in history. He ended up saying then Punk cracked under pressure and tore his tricep. He ended up saying that Punk couldn't handle the spotlight. And that's why he is here. That's why Logan Paul is here. So Logan Paul ended up saying that Punk is familiar to the people. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's John Cena. It's CM Punk. He ended up saying that name changes. Logan Paul ended up saying that now he is a full-timer. It's only a matter of time before they chant his name, to which the crowd end up booing the hell out of Logan Paul more. So Punk then asked the crowd if they should give more time to chant Logan Paul's name, to which the crowd boo that. So Punk ended up saying that Logan Paul said a lot of things wrong, but one thing that Logan Paul is right about is that the names change. So CM Punk ended up saying that the names Logan Paul mentioned, Stone Cold, John Cena, even himself, CM Punk, he ended up saying that we are legends and history makers. So we had Punk end up saying that he makes history under the pressure that Logan Paul claims that Punk cracks under. So Punk ended up saying that Logan Paul is barely a flash in the pan and won't be here long enough for the people to figure out or remember who he is. Punk ended up saying that the Elimination Chamber, he'll eliminate Logan Paul as a receipt for eliminating him from the Royal Rumble. Punk ended up saying that he will then go to WrestleMania and face Cody Rhodes for the title. Punk then ended up saying that he will leave Vegas with the World Championship and make history. So he ended up saying that Logan Paul will be history and forgotten. Punk then ended up saying that he doesn't care if Cody Rhodes thinks he needs to sell his soul to beat him. He ended up saying that Cody will find out what Logan Paul will see on Saturday. So Punk ended up telling Logan Paul that he is Satan himself. And in this business, Logan Paul is a nobody. So Punk and Logan Paul were face to face. Logan Paul began to back up. And then he slapped Punk in the face and he retreated out of the ring like a coward. So Punk ended up warning Logan Paul to run while his legs still work. He ended up saying that on Saturday, it's not just a ring. He'll be locked in the cage with Punk. So Punk ended up saying that Logan Paul will find out why the crowd chants his name. So pretty much that was basically that. Overall, Punk ended up saving this segment from being awful, in my opinion. If this was just all Logan Paul coming out there and, him saying, oh, I'm from Ohio. I'm a full-timer now. I will defeat 3 doorknobs and John Cena at Elimination Chamber this Saturday. I will go to main event WrestleMania and I'll face Cody Rhodes. If that was the whole promo here, it would have been fucking awful and boring. So good thing Punk saved this segment. And then we had the first match of the night. Ludwig Kaiser versus Pete Dunne versus Penta. This was a triple threat match. And this was a good match here. This was a good triple threat match. Very entertaining. So the match got underway. Pete Dunne began yelling at Kaiser. Pete Dunne then took Kaiser down with a step up enziguri. Penta ended up kicking Pete Dunne. And he ended up hooking a side headlock. Dunne ended up whipping Penta off. But Penta ended up ducking a pair of clotheslines. And he then hit a run hurricanrana to Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne quickly rolled out of the ring to recover. Kaiser then snuck up and rolled Penta up, to which Penta kicked out. Kaiser then reversed the whip into the corner. Penta then ended up hitting a slingshot backstabber on Kaiser, and that led to Kaiser rolling out of the ring. Penta then set up for a dive, but Kaiser stepped out of the way. Pete Dunne then ended up attacking Kaiser at ringside, and then he turned that into a cannonball off the apron from Penta. Pete Dunne ended up attacking Kaiser at ringside, and then Dunne ended up turning into a cannonball from Penta, which Penta hit that off the apron. Kaiser then ended up attacking Penta from behind and sent him into the barricade. Kaiser then ended up delivering a basement drop kick to Pete Dunne's arm into the steel steps. Kaiser then ended up getting Penta in the ring. Kaiser then ended up sending him into the ropes, but Kaiser ended up lowering his head, and he ate a kick from Penta. Penta then clotheslined Kaiser over the top rope. Penta then headed up to the top rope. He ended up diving to ringside with a crossbody block to both Kaiser and Pete Dunne, taking them both out. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had Penta end up hitting a Tower of Doom on Kaiser and Pete Dunne. Very nice spot there. It was like a powerbomb superplex combo done on Kaiser and Dunne from Penta. So Penta then ended up chopping Kaiser, and he grabbed Pete Dunne. Penta ended up going back and forth, chopping both Dunne and Kaiser. Penta then hit the ropes, and he hit Pete Dunne with a reverse sling blade. Penta then ended up kicking Kaiser and ended up hitting a reverse sling blade on Kaiser. So Penta then ended up hitting Kaiser with a handspring basement dropkick in the corner. Pete Dunne then cut Penta off, but Penta started fighting back. Penta then ended up chopping Kaiser from the apron, and he leaped at Pete Dunne, who was seated on the top rope. Penta then ended up hitting a head scissors takeover on Pete Dunne off the top rope, which flipped him into Kaiser, which that was a nice spot there. We had Penta end up getting Kaiser in the ring, and he had pinned a rolling Death Valley driver to Kaiser. So Penta ended up going for the cover, which that led to Pete Dunne breaking up the pin with a drop kick. So Penta and Pete Dunne were trading strikes at each other. Pete Dunne ended up backflipping over Penta, but Penta responded with a drop kick to Pete Dunne. We had Kaiser end up grabbing the back of Penta's mask, to which Pete Dunne then drive Penta into Kaiser. Pete Dunne ended up hitting Penta with the bitter end, to which he went for the cover, and Kaiser broke up the pin. We had Penta end up coming out of nowhere because Pete Dunne ended up countering with a joint manipulation on Kaiser, so Penta came out of nowhere with a Mexican Destroyer on Pete Dunne, which that was absolutely great. Good spot there. So Penta then super kicked Kaiser away. He grabbed Pete Dunne's arm for the sacrifice. Penta ended up going for the Penta driver to Pete Dunne, but Kaiser ended up sending Penta out of the ring. Kaiser then ended up hitting the swinging DDT on Pete Dunne. He ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Kaiser ended up winning the match. But overall, this was a very good match here, very good triple threat match here from Kaiser, Dunne, and Penta. All three of them gave it all they got here, and all three worked really well in this match. And then we saw Jackie Redmond. Jackie Redmond was in the crowd, and she introduced Rhea Ripley, the Women's World Champion. And she kept saying that the challenger for the Women's World Championship will be determined at the Elimination Chamber. So Rhea Ripley ended up saying to Jackie Redmond that she'll have an eye on the Elimination Chamber. Rhea Ripley ended up saying that she has never defeated Io, and they haven't faced in 5 years. Rhea ended up saying that in those 5 years, she has become the most dominant woman in WWE. She ended up saying that she's beaten everyone who has stepped up to her. She ended up mentioning Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Liv Morgan. She ended up saying that she's beaten them all. She ended up saying that next week, she'll add Io's name to the list. So Io walked up to Rhea Ripley, and she spoke in Japanese. Io then ended up saying that she'll beat Rhea next week, and that she will go to WrestleMania as the Women's World Champion. Pretty much that was basically that, but we have Rhea Ripley defending the title against Io Sky next week. Should be a good match between the both of them, but Io is not winning the Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley, of course, is taking the title into WrestleMania. But it should be a good match, like I said, next week between Rhea and Io. And then we had the New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods. They have taken on Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde. New Day came out, and as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Kofi got on the mic. He had saying that the crowd should thank God they're in the arena. Of course, typical New Day promo where they're just running down the crowd. And like I said last week, I am over the New Day because this is leading to nothing for the New Day. This whole heel turn that they did on Big E when he made the appearance on Monday Night Raw on Netflix for the first show, this has been completely, a waste of time for the New Day. This is not leading to anything. So, Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde end up coming out, which this was a quick match here, in my opinion. Xavier Woods and Joaquin Wilde started off the match. Joaquin Wilde took it to Xavier Woods and started stomping away on him. Woods ended up fighting back. Joaquin Wilde ended up grapevining Woods' head, and he bent Woods over the ropes for a few moments. Joaquin Wilde ended up pinning a springboard dropkick to Woods. Cruz del Toro then tagged in, and we had a double team on Del Toro and Joaquin Wilde on Xavier Woods. Then a pin a double team back elbow to Woods. Del Toro ended up flipping Wilde onto Xavier Woods, and then he pinned a springboard moonsault onto Woods, to which Del Toro ended up going for the cover, and Woods kicked out. Del Toro ended up sending Woods into the corner, but Del Toro ended up running into a boot from Woods. Woods went to the top rope, but Del Toro ended up kicking Woods in his face. Del Toro then ended up pinning a springboard super hurricanrana to Xavier Woods, and then he ended up attacking Kofi Kingston. Del Toro then ended up chopping Woods, and he hooked Woods' head. Woods ended up flipping through a suplex attempt from Del Toro. Del Toro ended up charging at Woods, but Kofi pulled the top rope down to get Del Toro out of the ring. So Kofi then tagged in. He started stomping away at Del Toro in the corner. Kofi then ended up whipping Woods into Del Toro with a basement dropkick, to which he ended up going for the cover, and Del Toro ended up kicking out. We had Woods end up rocking Del Toro with a forearm to his jaw. Kofi then tagged in. Del Toro ended up fighting Kofi and Woods off. Kofi ended up stopping Del Toro from making the tag to Joaquin Wilde, but Del Toro countered with a kick to Kofi. Joaquin Wilde then tagged in, and he had pinned a pair of clotheslines on Kofi. He then ended up pinning Woods with a super kick. Wilde ended up mounting Kofi and started punching away at him. Wilde attacked Woods. He ended up rolling him over, and he ended up pinning Kofi with a DDT. So at the end of the match, we had the New Day. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods ended up pinning Del Toro with the lights out. And there you go. New Day ended up winning the match. Post-match, the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods ended up attacking Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde. Dragon Lee ended up running down to make the save. Dragon Lee ended up going to drive Woods into the canvas, but Kofi ended up distracting Dragon Lee, which led Woods to deliver a big boot to Dragon Lee. So Kofi and Xavier ended up pinning a double team powerbomb on Dragon Lee, and pretty much that was basically that. Overall, this match was just very meh, in my opinion. Very quick match here. And then we went to the Judgment Day Clubhouse. Finn Balor ended up saying that he's sick and tired of this. He ended up saying that last week was embarrassing for the Judgment Day, all because of Dominik. Because Dominik lost to Styles, and he also got speared by Bron Breakker after the match. Dominik ended up pointing out that Balor got a shot at the Elimination Chamber and lost. So Carlito was trying to keep things down between them, but they ended up ignoring Carlito. Dominik ended up saying that they need another member. And Balor ended up saying that he'll fix everything. So Liv Morgan ended up saying that she and Raquel Rodriguez will bring gold to the Judgment Day. And it doesn't matter who holds the gold, as long as they have gold. So Balor then pretended that he agrees with them. So Balor ended up saying that they should worry about Bianca Belair and Naomi. Of course, he was talking to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. So Liv Morgan ended up saying to Balor that they'll handle their business. And pretty much that was basically that. And all you saw Carlito was just like he had an apple in here. He's like, oh, yellow apple. And that was that. And then we had Gunther. Gunther was in the ring. Crowd was booing him. Gunther got on the mic. He ended up saying that he knows they can't contain their excitement because the greatest wrestler is competing tonight. Gunther ended up saying that before he fights, he wants to talk about WrestleMania. He ended up saying that when Jey Uso first picked him for WrestleMania, he was angry. And Gunther ended up saying that now he realizes he can end the Eat Circus for good and embarrass Jey Uso. Gunther ended up saying that today he took the WrestleMania spirit and offered Adam Pearce the opportunity to get him in the ring. So Gunther handpicked his opponent. Who was Gunther's opponent that he handpicked? It was Akira Tozawa. So Akira Tozawa came out along with Maxine Dupree and Otis. Gunther ended up saying that Akira Tozawa is a good wrestler, but he's instead acting like a goof for the fans, just like Jey Uso. Gunther ended up saying that Tozawa has a chance to earn his respect, something that Jey Uso will never get. So Gunther ended up shoving Tozawa. He ended up challenging him to earn his respect. So we got the match, Gunther versus Akira Tozawa, which this was a squash match here. Tozawa ended up kicking Gunther in the face as the bell rang. Tozawa then started punching away at Gunther, and he ended up booting Gunther. Tozawa then hit the ropes, but Gunther ended up crushing Tozawa with a big boot. He then ripped Tozawa's shirt off. Tozawa then ended up chopping Gunther, but Gunther responded with a vicious chop that took Tozawa down. Gunther ended up going for a powerbomb, but Tozawa ended up countering that with a guillotine choke attempt on Gunther. Gunther then shoved Tozawa off, but Tozawa ended up decking Gunther with a spin kick. Gunther ended up fighting back with a drop kick to Tozawa. He ended up going for a powerbomb, but Tozawa countered that into a code red, to which Tozawa ended up going for the cover, and Gunther kicked out. So Gunther ended up pulling Tozawa's shoulders off the mat because he ended up delivering a powerbomb to Tozawa. So that's when Gunther went for the cover and he pulled Tozawa's shoulders off the canvas. So Gunther then applied a sleeper hold on Tozawa. Tozawa passed out and the ref called for the bell. So there you go. Gunther ended up winning the match. No surprise there. So post-match, Gunther ended up putting the sleeper hold back on Tozawa. Otis then got into the ring. Gunther ended up hitting Otis, but Otis ended up absorbing that. Gunther backed off as Otis ended up checking on Tozawa. So Gunther ended up attacking Otis from behind with a sleeper hold. That led to Jey Uso coming out. Jey Uso got a big ovation there from the crowd there in Cincinnati. And so as Jey Uso made his way into the ring, Gunther immediately retreated out of the ring. So Gunther wanted nothing to do with Jey Uso. Jey then invited Gunther to get into the ring, But Gunther wanted nothing of that. Pretty much that was basically that. Overall, squash match this was for Gunther and Akira Tozawa. And then we had Dakota Kai versus Lyra Valkyria. This was for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, to which last week on Raw, Dakota Kai ended up defeating Ivy Nile to become the number one contender to face Lyra for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And this was a okay match here. Match got underway. We had Dakota Kai and Lyra end up locking up. Lyra ended up hooking Dakota's head, and she had pinned the takeover. Lyra then attacked Dakota's arm, but Dakota ended up quickly kicking Lyra away. Lyra then ended up charging at Dakota, but Dakota ended up rolling Lyra up, to which Lyra kicked out. Lyra ended up grabbing Dakota Kai and slammed her down. Dakota then got out of the ring. Lyra ended up going out to the floor for a drop kick to Dakota, but Dakota ended up catching Lyra. Lyra pulled Dakota to the apron, and she was set up for a suplex, but Dakota ended up finding out that. Dakota then ended up taking Lyra down, and she connected with a cannonball off the apron to Lyra. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Dakota Kai and Lyra were shown fighting on the top rope. Dakota knocked Lyra into the Tree of Woe. Lyra ended up managing to kick Dakota in the face, and she then sat up. Lyra then ended up setting up, and she connected with a delayed vertical superplex to Dakota. So Lyra and Dakota were exchanging blows from their knees. Dakota then ducked a spin kick from Lyra, and she ended up hitting a scorpion kick to Lyra. Dakota then lifted Lyra up, but Lyra counted that into a roll-up, and Dakota ended up kicking out. And both Dakota and Lyra were going back and forth with roll-ups, which I hate when they do that, where they end up rolling up. The ref counts 1, 2. They roll up again, 1, 2. Roll up again, 1, 2. I hate when they do that. It's such a waste. It's like, we know none of them are going to get a pin attempt on those back and forth roll-ups. I hate when they do that. So Dakota ended up going for a backslide pin, but Lyra ended up fighting out, and she had pinned the backslide. Dakota then rolled through. Dakota ended up pinning a jackknife pin, but Lyra bridged up, and she had pinned a powerbomb to Dakota, to which she ended up going for the cover, and Dakota ended up kicking out. So at the end of the match, we had Dakota end up going to the second rope for a superplex, but Lyra ended up fighting out of that. Lyra then ended up sliding under Dakota, and she delivered Nightwing to Dakota. She ended up going for the cover, and they go. Lyra Valkyria ended up winning the match, retaining the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Post-match, Dakota ended up shaking hands with Lyra, showing a sign of respect. Ivy Nile then snuck up behind Dakota, and she ended up driving Dakota into the barricade. So Ivy Nile then hit the ring as Lyra was celebrating. She ended up ripping Lyra off the ropes. Ivy then connected with a German suplex to Lyra, which was followed up by a power slam. Ivy Nile then held up the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and pretty much that was basically that. So we're going to be getting Lyra Valkyria versus Ivy Nile for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. That's where this is going. And now we saw Jackie Redmond. Jackie Redmond ended up interviewing Sami Zayn earlier in the day. Sami Zayn ended up saying to Jackie Redmond that he went to Kevin Owens' house and saw his mother, and that his mother was in good spirits. And Sami Zayn ended up saying that he went to Kevin Owens' house because Friday on SmackDown we saw Kevin Owens end up going to Sami Zayn's house. He peeked through the window, and he saw Sami Zayn there along with his son and his wife. So Sami ended up saying that he went home, and was ashamed of himself. Sami ended up saying that he couldn't recognize himself after going to Kevin Owens' house with bad intentions. He ended up saying as much as he doesn't recognize himself, he doesn't recognize Owens. Sami ended up saying that they've gone down this road before, but now he's unsure what he's capable of. He ended up saying that he also doesn't know what Kevin Owens is capable of, and that a lot of people are looking forward to this match. Sami ended up saying that he understands why WWE didn't sanction it, because his neck isn't where he wants it to be, but they should be worried about what it'll do to Kevin Owens. Sami ended up saying that this is going to be a war, and it's going to be insane. He ended up saying everything they've done to each other over the years, it'll be worse. Sami ended up saying that it's going to be a bad time for both of them, but especially for Owens. So Sami Zayn was like, Owens, I hope you are ready. Pretty much that was basically that. But this should be a very good match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Unsanctioned match. And then we saw Dominik Mysterio. He ended up taking on Bron Breakker. Of course, he was accompanied by Finn Balor and Carlito, Dominik Mysterio. And this match was just a waste of time, in my opinion. Match got underway. Crowd was behind Bron Breakker. So Breakker ended up shoving Dominik as Dominik was shown flex his muscles. Breakker then blocked the kick from Dominik, and he flipped Dominik over the top rope out to the floor. Breakker ended up going to ringside and sent Dominik back into the ring. Breakker then blocked the punch from Dominik, and he hooked a side headlock on Dominik. Dominik whipped Breakker off, but Breakker hit the ropes, and he ended up turning Dominik inside out with a clothesline, which that was absolutely great, where Breakker hit the ropes at some speed there. And just that clothesline to Dominik was just absolutely good. So, Balor and Carlito, they pulled Dominik out of the ring to help Dominik recover. Breakker went to the outside, and he chased Dominik back into the ring. Dominik then stomped on Breakker as Breakker got into the ring, and Dominik was going for a suplex. Breakker ended up blocking that suplex attempt. Breakker ended up flipping Dominik off for a slam, and that led to Balor distracting the ref. Carlito then tripped Breakker, so Breakker started choking Carlito at ringside. Dominik then ended up hitting Breakker with a suicide dive, and he got Breakker in the ring for a slingshot senton bomb. So Dominik ended up going for the cover, and Breakker ended up kicking out. So Dominik was shown taunting the crowd. He turned around, and he saw Bron Breakker grab him by his throat. Carlito then got on the apron, so Breakker knocked Carlito off. Dominik then knocked Breakker into the ropes. Dominik then ended up going for the 619, which he connected to Breakker. Dominik headed to the top rope, but Breakker cut Dominik off. Breakker set up for a superplex, but Dominik ended up knocking Breakker down to the canvas. Breakker immediately scaled the ropes for a Frankensteiner, which was cool. Breakker then pulled his straps down. He set up to go for the spear, but Balor and Carlito ended up pulling Breakker out of the ring, so the ref ended up calling for the bell. So Bron Breakker won the match by disqualification. So post-match, Balor, Carlito, and Dominik triple teamed up on Breakker in the ring. Carlito held Breakker up as Dominik started striking at Breakker. So Dominik ended up charging. Breakker ended up managing to hit Dominik with a back body drop over the top rope. Breakker then hit the ropes, and he delivered the spear to Carlito. Breakker immediately turned around, and he stopped Balor, because Balor ended up getting in the ring with a steel chair. So Balor cautiously backed off, and he stared at Breakker from ringside. And pretty much that was basically that. But overall, this was a waste of time. Absolute waste. So then we got the segment that we saw Friday on SmackDown where The Rock was there. The Rock made an appearance, and he announced that WrestleMania is coming to New Orleans next year, which it was confirmed way before The Rock confirmed it, because, you know, I talked about it on the Bell Call podcast with me and Noah, and we revealed it on there. So, yeah, WrestleMania is coming to New Orleans next year. First time WWE is going back to New Orleans for WrestleMania in 8 years, since WrestleMania 34. So The Rock then called out Cody Rhodes. The Rock ended up saying that he wants Cody to be his champion. Cody ended up saying that he is the people's champion. The Rock ended up telling Cody that he could offer him great things in exchange for his soul. So pretty much The Rock wants Cody to sell his soul to him. So The Rock ended up saying that he would expect a decision from Cody at the Elimination Chamber. So pretty much that was basically what we saw this past Friday on SmackDown. What The Rock was saying to Cody, you know, I could offer you great things if you sell your soul to me. So pretty much basically The Rock, you know, wants, you know, Cody to sell his soul to him and possibly, you know, turn heel. And it looks like we're going to get a tease maybe of another corporation. Remember The Rock back in the day, he was with the corporation, you know, with Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon. You know, it looks like The Rock wants to start that over again. But we have to wait and see. So then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw the Creed brothers. The Creed brothers were with Ivy Nile, and the Creeds were celebrating what Ivy Nile did by taking out Lyra earlier in the night. So Kathy Kelly ended up coming by. Kathy Kelly ended up asking if Ivy Nile is trying to get back in the Women's Intercontinental Championship title picture. Ivy Nile ended up telling Kathy Kelly that she is. And she ended up saying that the Creed brothers are going after the World Tag Team titles next week. Then she'll beat the hell out of Lyra Valkyria until she gets her match. So this led to the War Raiders end up attacking the Creed brothers from behind. So the War Raiders and the Creed brothers were brawling backstage, and pretty much that was basically that. And then we had Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes ended up coming out. Big ovation for Cody in Cincinnati. So Cody got into the ring. He got on the mic. He ended up saying, you know, so Cincinnati, I'm pretty certain I know what we're supposed to talk about. He ended up saying, what does it mean to ask for one man's soul? Cody ended up saying that he knows that's rather abstract phrasing, but having grown up in this business, he can read between the lines and understand the offer that the final boss has made him. So Cody ended up saying that it is good guy 101 for him not to lie to the crowd. Cody ended up saying that he has never lied to the crowd and won't start now. Cody ended up saying that he wants the crowd to know as he heads towards another main event at WrestleMania that he is incredibly blessed. He ended up saying that he is not a team of one. He ended up saying this decision he has to make at Elimination Chamber doesn't affect him alone. Cody ended up saying that he has his lovely wife, his daughter, his sister, the Nightmare Factory, and his students, his two nephews breaking into the family, his mother, and the memory of a father who worked into his 60s on the independent circuit, bleeding and breaking his body to make ends meet. Of course, Dusty Rhodes, the late great Dusty Rhodes. Cody ended up saying that he does not want that for his own future. He ended up saying that everyone knows he'll scratch and claw to get it. But The Rock is offering him not to have to do that. So Cody then got interrupted by Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins ended up coming out. Rollins got on the mic. He ended up saying that this is the first time he's been in the ring with Cody in nearly a year. He ended up saying that the last time was at WrestleMania last year. Rollins ended up saying that he would love for this moment to be a moment of celebration as he welcomes, Cody back to his show, Monday Night Rollins. Rollins ended up saying that he'd love to look Cody in the eye and tell him how proud he is of his near year-long run as the undisputed WWE champion. Rollins ended up saying that he'd love to tell him he can't wait to face him in the main event of WrestleMania once he wins Elimination Chamber. Rollins ended up saying that's not why he's out here. He ended up saying that he is here to ask Cody what the hell he's thinking after the offer from Friday. He ended up saying nearly a year ago, they stood side by side, ready to go to battle against the Bloodline, against Roman Reigns and The Rock. He ended up saying now The Rock is back, asking Cody to be his champion and sell his soul. Rollins ended up saying that the fact that Cody didn't slap him in the face on the spot is a slap in his face, in Rollins' face. So Rollins ended up warning Cody not to make him regret everything he sacrificed to help Cody win the undisputed WWE Championship. So Rollins ended up asking, what the hell are you thinking, man? What is he going to get? A bit part in The Rock's movies? Is the WWE Championship a burden to him? So Cody ended up saying to Rollins that he wishes this conversation was going differently. He ended up saying that he loved to shower gratitude on Rollins, but he sounded judgmental. He ended up saying that The Rock came to SmackDown to ask for his soul because Rollins' soul was compromised. So Cody ended up saying that Rollins shook his hand before he had to go off for surgery, before hitting him in the back with a sledgehammer. Cody ended up saying that he knows who Rollins is. He ended up saying that Rollins hit Roman in the back and broke up the Shield before saddling up with the Authority and running guys like him out of WWE. Cody ended up saying that he also knows that Rollins was his Shield at WrestleMania 40. He ended up saying with one leg and a scrambled back, Rollins helped him achieve his family's biggest dream of the WWE Championship. And Cody ended up saying that Rollins was the MVP of WrestleMania 40. So both Rollins and Cody end up standing there as, MVP chant ended up picking up from the crowd. So Rollins ended up saying that he's not out here to judge Cody. Maybe in some way, he's out here to protect Cody from making the mistakes he made years ago. Rollins ended up saying that those mistakes stay with you. Rollins ended up saying that he has been filled with hate. He ended up saying sometimes it's pointed in the right direction at guys like Roman and CM Punk. Rollins ended up saying that he doesn't want to hate Cody and tells him not to make him hate him. He ended up saying that Cody is a grown man and can do what he wants. Rollins ended up saying that he's going to the Elimination Chamber and he will win it. He ended up saying that the man he wants to face at WrestleMania isn't a soulless Cody Rhodes. Rollins ended up saying that the man he wants to face is the Cody Rhodes who beat him at WrestleMania 38. The Cody Rhodes who took him to his limit with one arm and beat him inside Hell in a Cell with a torn pec. He ended up saying that he wants the Cody Rhodes who he helped win the title at WrestleMania. Rollins ended up saying that he isn't coming for his soul, but he is coming for his undisputed WWE Championship. So Rollins then walked off. Cody then stared Rollins off into the distance, and pretty much that was basically that. But overall, this was a pretty interesting, good segment here between Rollins and Cody. Rollins ended up saying, I want the Cody who took me to my limit with one arm. He wants the Cody who helped him win the title at WrestleMania. So he wants to bring that Cody out of him if he wins the Elimination Chamber. But overall, interesting, good segment this was. And then we saw Jey Uso. Jey Uso ended up checking in on Akira Tozawa in the trainer's room. And as Jey Uso was leaving the trainer's room, he got confronted by A-Town Down Under, Grayson Waller, and Austin Theory. So, Waller and Theory mocked Jey Uso, And they end up saying that Jay isn't on Gunther's level. So Jey Uso then super kicked Grayson Waller down, and pretty much that was basically that. And then we got, confirmation of the matches, for next week. Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky for the Women's World Championship, and the War Raiders versus the Creed Brothers for the World Tag Team Championship. So that's happening on Monday Night Raw next week. They're going to be in Buffalo in upstate New York. So those two matches are confirmed. Main event. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Naomi and Bianca Belair. This was for the Women's Tag Team Championship. And this was a solid women's match here. So before the match began, Bianca Belair and Naomi ended up viciously attacking Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Bianca and Naomi ended up sending Raquel over the barricade, and they ended up getting Liv Morgan in the ring. The match ended up getting underway. So Bianca and Naomi ended up taking it to Liv Morgan with some double team attacks. Bianca then ended up going for the cover on Liv Morgan, to which Liv Morgan ended up kicking out. Bianca then threw Liv Morgan down by her hair. Liv Morgan ended up fighting both Bianca and Naomi off with some elbows. Bianca then ended up decking Liv Morgan with a forearm to her jaw. Liv Morgan ended up reversing the whip, and Raquel Rodriguez ended up sweeping Bianca's feet. Raquel ended up tagging in, and she ended up whipping Bianca out of the ring. Raquel then ended up whipping Bianca into the barricade. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Bianca was in control of the match. She ended up backflipping over Raquel, and she tagged Naomi in. Naomi came in, and she ended up decking Raquel Rodriguez with a kick. Naomi ended up hitting a bulldog. She then ended up hitting Liv Morgan with a super kick and a leg drop. Raquel then dropped Naomi on the apron. But Naomi ended up shouldering Raquel back, and she ended up hitting a slingshot X Factor to Raquel. She ended up going for the cover, to which Raquel kicked out. Naomi ended up going up to the top rope for a crossbody block, but Raquel rolled through, and she ended up lifting Naomi. Naomi ended up getting out, and she ended up knocking Liv Morgan off the apron. She then started kicking away at Raquel. Naomi ended up hitting Raquel with a blockbuster, and then she tagged Bianca in. Bianca ended up heading up to the top rope, and she ended up delivering the 450 splash onto Raquel. Bianca ended up going for the cover, to which Raquel ended up kicking out. You had Dominik Mysterio end up running down to distract the ref, and Raquel Rodriguez ended up clotheslining Bianca, and she ended up hitting Naomi with the Tejana Bomb. Liv Morgan then ended up hitting Naomi with the Oblivion, to which we had Liv Morgan end up going for the cover, and Bianca broke up the pin. Raquel then knocked Bianca back, but Bianca responded with a spear to Raquel. We had, at one point, Liv Morgan end up rolling to the ropes because we had a double team KOD from Naomi and Bianca Belair to Liv Morgan, and we had Dominik Mysterio end up putting Liv Morgan's foot on the bottom rope. So Bianca ended up going for the KOD on Raquel at ringside, but Raquel ended up getting out. Raquel ended up slamming Bianca on the table. Naomi ended up taking Raquel Rodriguez out with a plancha. Liv Morgan ended up going for Oblivion, but Naomi countered that by holding the ropes. Naomi ended up going for a slam, but Liv Morgan ended up rolling Naomi up, to which Naomi ended up kicking out. So we had Naomi ended up ducking a clothesline from Liv Morgan, and she ended up hitting the rear view to Liv, which that rear view is such a stupid move. I hate when Naomi ends up hitting that rear view. Such a stupid move there. So we had Dominik end up getting on the apron. Naomi ended up kicking Dominik in his head, to which Dominik ended up going right into the ring. Naomi ended up going for a split-legged moonsault, but Raquel ended up grabbing Naomi and drove her head into the ring post. Naomi then ended up falling down to the canvas. So Liv Morgan ended up going for the cover. And there you go. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez win the match. And they are your new women's tag team champions. So pretty much that was basically that. We have Pyro ended up going off for Liv and Raquel as Monday Night Raw went off the air. Overall, this was a solid women's match here. You know, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are the new women's tag team champions. Obviously, you know, called it that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez were going to be the new women's tag team champions. But overall, Monday Night Raw, pretty mediocre show this was. You know, for a go-home show, it did nothing to get us hyped for the Elimination Chamber this Saturday. But anyway, that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and be sure to tune in tomorrow on my buddy Luke Ponto's channel as, you know, we do another episode of the Movie Fanatics. Going to be a very good show there, so tune in at 8 o'clock Eastern on my buddy Luke Ponto's channel, and come join us, watch the show. The Bell Call podcast, maybe episode 5 will be coming this Wednesday, depending on me and Noah's schedules. So if everything works out, there will be a Bell Call podcast on Wednesday for episode 5. If not, AEW Dynamite review this Wednesday. Hopefully the show will be decent. You know, if it's, you know, awful and hard to sit through, no review of that. But anyway, until then, I'll see you all later.